Then we have the printing options. If we click on that, this is where we can make our selections in the different checkboxes. So we have print which quantities. So if I wanted to look at just my on hand and that's it, I would check on hand. The other selections, if I want to look at my models, I can check that. If I wanted to do just a negative on hand report, on my report options I can choose only negative on hands, click the on hand and click on this checkbox that says show negative on hand. And that would just give me a report of the items that show a negative on hand in my system. I could choose short, critical, max, reorder, on order at once, on order future, on order total, in transit, on hand plus in transit. The in transit ones are if you have multiple stores and you use the in transits when you transfer your goods from one store to another. You could check all of these, check a few of them, only check one, whatever you decide. In this example, I'm just going to select on hand. If I go down, I also have print. So if I wanted to check costs, ROI and turns, age, sales history by month, location, perks, and column totals, I could do so. I'm going to click on costs, ROI and turns, sales history by month, and column totals. So it'll give me totals to the right. Then I have my group by row. If I wanted to print selected quantities group by row, I could click on that checkbox. Then I have my sales selection. I have 4 different sales selections that I can choose. If I click on the drop down, it shows all of my options. So I could select month to date. I could go down to the second one and I could select previous month. Could go down to the third one and I could select season to date. And then I could go down to the last one and I could select year to date. You don't have to, but you have 4 different options to look at your sales information on one report, which is great. Then the last tab is the aging options. If I click on that, I can select aging options if I want to. Date last received, I can put a date range in there, or date first received, and I can put a date range in there. So it'll just give me those items from when I last received them or when I first received them. For this report, I'm just going to leave those blank. If I had named this report, I could click on Save Report down at the bottom. If I'm ready to run the report, I can click on Add Job and Run. This will bring you into the report history, and then you can click on the Stock Status Report and click on Open. This will bring the report on the screen. And we did everything, we sorted everything by supplier. So you have the first supplier in this example is Adidas. You have the SKU number, the description, the color, supplier SKU, class, price, and cost. You have all of the information that you requested. You have ROI, turns, you have the on hand, by size, so it shows the quantities in each size that you have on hand, gives you totals to the right, that's where we did the column totals. Then you have the sales information, month to date, previous month, season to date, year to date, all quantity by size. If you move down, we also selected the sales history by month, so you can tell quantity in each month what you sold for that SKU and then a total. And then it moves on to the next SKU in order for Adidas and goes on down the report. You can go to the end of the report by clicking on the last page icon, and that'll give you complete totals in a grand summary. So you'll be able to see the total on hand, month to date, previous month sales, season to date sales, and year to date sales. The quantity, cost, and retail price. If you want to go back to the top, you can click on the first page icon, and that brings us back to the top. You can scroll down by using the scroll bar to the right, or you can go page by clicking on the next page icon or the previous page icon. You can search for a particular item by clicking on the search up at the top, and you can search for a particular SKU or any other information. If you want to print this, you can click on your printer icon. You can save this somewhere to your hard drive, and you can also email this report to somebody just by clicking on email. So the stock status is a very common report that people run a lot. That gives you a lot of information. You select what information you want to print out on this report, and you can see everything that you've selected per SKU, and it will give you the size grid, the quantities of each size, based on what you've selected. Your on hand, your sales history, you have sales history by month. You can get a lot of information on your SKUs sorted however you want to sort it by supplier, class, or location. And then you can get your grand totals at the end. So great report to run.